Alright, welcome back to your 10th tutorial on how to create Excel documents. And what we will look at here now is the conditional formatting. To give a quick demonstration what that is, I've made up a little Excel document. So it's a simple math question, 34 plus 12 equals to, well, let's see, is it 45? Oh, no, it's not 45. Let's see, is it 46? Ah, okay. So as you see, as soon as I typed in the correct answer, it formatted that cell in green, and that basically indicates that our answer is correct. So what happened behind that is if I go to conditional formatting and go to manage rules, you see that there is a rule that says as soon as the cell value equals to A1 plus C1, so as soon as the E1 cell is equal to A1 plus C1, make it a green background and show the user that it's correct. So that's the aim for this tutorial. Let me just warn you that this might get a little bit confusing, especially in the end, but I will try to explain it as clear as possible. So to get started, I'll create a new class and I'm going to call it math test. So we're going to ask some math questions, and as soon as the user typed in the correct answer, we are going to tell him that it is correct. Alright, so let's import a couple of stuff. So the first thing is the org apache POI HSSF user model dot HSSF workbook. The second thing is org apache POI SS user model workbook. Import org apache POI SS user model sheet. Import org apache POI SS user model row, and that's it what we need to style our workbook. Now for the conditional formatting stuff, we're gonna need the import org apache POI SS user model. Wait a moment. Alright, and there is something called the sheet conditional formatting. The other thing we're going to need is org apache POI SS user model conditional formatting rule. And the other thing we're going to need is import org apache POI SS util dot cell range address. So we're going to need those three classes to create our conditional formats. And last but not least, because we're going to create a whole new workbook, we have to import Java IO file output stream. Alright, so let's just start by making a new workbook. And of course we're going to need first the main method, so public static void main string args. So that's where our program is going to start. And now we'll create just our new workbook. Let's call it workbook equals to new HSSF workbook. We're just going to need one sheet in here, so we're just going to say sheet, let's call it sheet equals to workbook dot create sheet, and let's call it something like math test. This is going to be serious. Alright, so now we have to create our row. So row, let's call it row 0 equals to sheet dot create row, and we're gonna start at the first row, so create row at row number 0. And so now we just want to fill in the first cell and the second cell, the third cell, and so on with random numbers and a plus sign. and a equals sign. So let's just say row 0 dot create cell at 0. So create cell at 0 is basically the A1 cell. And then we say dot set cell value. Let's just set it to a number like 38. All right. Now row 0 dot create cell. Now we want to create the second cell at 1. So that's the B column. And set the cell value to, let's set it to a plus sign. Then row 0 dot create cell cell at 2 dot set cell value. Let's set it to a number like 12. And then row 0 dot create cell at 3 dot set cell value to a equals sign. So there's nothing new in here. We just created our row and just went from column to column and filled those in with, 38, a plus sign, a 12, and a equal sign. Maybe we can just make a little comment behind that. A1, so we know what content is in which cell. So we know it starts at A1 and it's going to have the value of 38, then B1 is going to have the plus sign, C1 is going to have the 12, and D1 is going to have the equal sign. So nothing new so far. Now let's just finish it off with the try catch block and create our Excel document in here. Exception e.print stack trace. Alright, in the try block we're going to create our file output stream. Let's call it output equals to new file output stream, and as a parameter it asks for a string, so we're going to give it something like math_test.xls. So that's going to be our Excel document. Then below that we're going to write that workbook in the output. So we just say workbook.write in the output. And last but not least, we have to close the output. So let's just go ahead and run that. So there's nothing new so far. We just created our just created our workbook, put a sheet in here, and we just basically filled in some of the cells with certain values. So let's see how it looks so far. If I just open it up, you can see now there is the number 38 plus 12 equals 2. Alright, and now of course we want to have a conditional format in the E1 cell. So how we're gonna create a conditional format? Let's make some space in here, and I'm just going to type in a comment and say create conditional formats. And you might remember we imported the sheet conditional formatting. So we're just going to see is a sheet conditional formatting, and let's just call it conditional formatting equals to, and we have to put that conditional formatting in the sheet. So we say sheet dot get conditional formatting. And then over here we're going to create our rules. So I'll just make another comment and say create rules. So how do we create new rules? I actually forgot to import something. So it's also in the import org apache POISS user model package, and it's called the comparison operator. And with the comparison operator we can basically, what it said, like it says, compare two different values, or compare this. No, wait, dang it, I messed it up. All right, no, I'll just show to you what it does. So let's create a new rule by saying conditional formatting rule. And let's just call it rule, whatever, equals to, and now we have to put it in the conditional formatting. So we say conditional formatting dot create conditional formatting rule. And as a parameter, we can now create our rule. So we can now use the comparison operator and say, is it either between two numbers? Is it equal to a number? Is it greater or equal to a number? Is it greater than a number? Is it less or equal to a number? Is it less than a number? So we want to check if that number he put in that cell is equal to, and then as a second parameter, it asks for a string, and we're going to put in a, let's see, 38 plus 12 is 50. And so as soon as the number he put in the cell is 50, like it says it's equal to 50, the formats will apply to that cell. So now we created our rule. Now we can basically change font, change background colors, change whatever the heck we want to change. Let's maybe start with the background color. So let's change the background color, and for that we have to import something from the org Apache POI SS user model, and it's called the pattern formatting. And with the pattern formatting we can basically change the background color. So I'll make another comment over here and say change background color. So let's create a pattern formatting style. So pattern formatting, let's call it background equals to, and we have to put it in a rule. So as soon as the rule is true, we want to have the background. So we say rule dot create pattern formatting. So let's change the background color. Background dot set fill background color. And I just noticed we have to import something as well. Import org Apache POI SS user model, and it's called the indexed colors. If you might remember that with the indexed colors we can decide which color it's going to be. So set fill background color indexed colors dot, let's set it to blue dot get index. So as soon as the rule applies to the cell, oh no, the other way around. As soon as the cell applies to the rule, so as soon as the cell is equal to 50, we are going to change the background color. Now here comes the really weird part. So we want to apply that conditional formatting rule to certain cells, and for that we have to create a cell range address, and we have to create an array of cell range addresses. And so let's just call it range, and with that cell range address we decide in which cells those rules will apply to. So we set it equal to, and in the curly braces we just type in cell range address dot value of, and then in the string we say E1 to E1. So alright, this is probably a little bit difficult to understand for the first time. So we created our cell range address, call it range, and we have to create an array, otherwise it's not going to work. And Basically, in the curly braces, we type in all the ranges or all the cell ranges. Basically, we want that rule to apply to. So we said we wanted to apply to from E1 to E1, which is basically just the cell E1. Alright, so now we have to put it in the conditional formatting. So we have to put in the conditional formatting where these rules will apply to. So we say conditional formatting dot add conditional formatting, and then we type in our cell range address, which is the range, and the second parameter is going to be what rules are going to be in that range. So we want to put those rules, or basically put that one rule we have up here in that range. So, alright, hopefully that makes sense. So we created our cell range address, which is basically only the cell E1, and as soon as the E1 is equal to 50, we want to apply the background color blue. I'll just go ahead and run that. We don't get any error messages. And we open it up. Now if I type in 50, you can see that it gave him a blue background color. Now you can't really see the text color, so I guess I'm going to change that too. But you see what it does as soon as I hit the correct answer in here. So let's put some other formats in there. For that we have to import some more things. So import org Apache POISS user model, and the class is going to be the font formatting. So it's not directly the same as the font, but you can do the same thing as in the font. So the font formatting is especially created for the rules. So we just say change font, and now we create our font formatting. Let's call it font equals to rule dot create font formatting. And now we want to change the font color to, so we say font dot set font color index, and let's set it equal to indexed colors dot, let's give it a light blue dot get index. Alright, so let's see how that looks. So let's type in 15 here. And you can see that it is a beautiful light blue text on a beautiful dark blue background. Alright, so what else can we change? So I'll show you one more thing. Let's change also the border. So the class for the border is going to be in the org Apache POISS user model package, and it's called the border formatting. And with the border formatting we can, like it says, change the border. So we say change border. Let's create a border formatting, and let's call it border equals to rule dot create border formatting. So border dot set, and you can see we can set the border bottom, border left, right, top. So I guess we just set the border bottom to something like, let's set it double underlined. So we say border formatting dot, border, and set it to double. And with the border double, it makes a double border. And let's also change the color of the border. So border dot set bottom border color and set it equal to indexed colors dot I'll use aqua dot get index, and if I run that and open up mathtest.excel and type in 50, you see that it has now some weird doubled border. Alright, so hopefully that was not too confusing, because now it gets really confusing. You see, as soon as I change these numbers, for instance, I would have to change that value as well. So there might be an easier way to evaluate that. So we can make Excel calculate what number has to be in there. So we can tell him that we want A1 plus C1 equal to that cell rule. So we can basically just say A1 plus C1. So far it looks pretty reasonable. So we just say as soon as A1 plus C1 is in that cell, we want to create a blue background, and so on and so on. But now comes the really confusing part, and I've created a little PowerPoint document. Let me just show it for you. So as you can see, we have our cells created in here. You know, the A1 is going to be 34, B1 is going to be the plus sign, C1 is going to be the 27, and D1 is going to be the equal sign. And so we set E1, so we set E1 to A1 plus C1. So we want, as soon as E1 is equal to 34 plus 27, we want to make a green background, and so on and so on. But this part is creating some trouble, because A1 is not the cell we think it is. It's always taking it relatively, you could say. So we want to apply this to E1. So A1 is not going to be over there. A1 is actually going to be the E1 cell, because that's the first cell from E1. And so C1 is also not going to be the C1 cell. It's going to be 2 columns farther away. So it's going to be the G1 cell. So to change this part and set it equal to the A1 cell over here, we have to put a $sign in front of the A1. So if we put a $sign in front of the A, it's always going to be in column number A. And so the same for C. If we want to have the column number C, to apply that, we have to put a $sign in front of the C. And then we have the A1 plus C1. So let's put it in here. We have our A1 plus C1, and as you know from my slideshow, now there's missing the $sign in front of the A and a $sign in front of the C. So now the column A and column C is always going to be applied to the column A and column C. Alright, so let's run that. And no error messages. Let's open up mathtest.excel. And let's put in 38 plus 12. Oh, I just noticed it didn't save the numbers from before. Oh well. 38 plus 12 is 50. And hooray, it's correct. Alright, so that's how you do that. And you know, if I now change the numbers in here to 613 and 22, let's run that. Again, no error messages. And if I put in the answer for 613 plus 22, this is going to be 600 and bah. Okay, I'm gonna need a wait a moment. No, 634. No, 635. Okay, my math skills aren't the best, but you can see what it does. So it always checks if this cell is equal to A1 plus C1, and I guess that's basically it. Yeah, as always, thank you for watching and hope to see you soon again. Bye.